It's very common in TTRPGs that we see some sort of framework, formula, or structure. Like you're going to choose a class, subclass, and race, and it's going to produce a very familiar-looking thing. Maybe like a humanoid adventurer. Maybe like you play TTRPGs. But sometimes I crave a lack of structure, or at least a loose structure, and that's part of where I'm really falling in love with tag-based games. So, what does that look like? So imagine this. Imagine if every word in your dictionary and every phrase had the potential to be part of your character sheet. That's what tag-based games offer, because a tag is a word or phrase. So, I like bananas. That could be a tag on your character sheet, and whenever like you bananas are as relevant, you get a +1 to your roll. The system I'm referencing is Legend of Mist by Cinnabolt Games. So let's get into it. Here's one of their pre-made characters, the Wise One. And the Wise One is essentially this like apothecary that's knowledgeable on the weird magical things happening. He's just like grumpy old man. And I love that his story is so clearly told by glancing at this character sheet. It's not just a set of numbers and like RPG abilities. It's a story being told here. And we can whenever we're like describing what he does at the table, we then pick out little tags that define him and go, yeah, I have a medicine bag, I have quick diagnosis, that's a +2 to my roll, right? And also you have his weakness tags, maybe he's tending to someone's wounds and he says something insensitive, giving him a -1 to the roll. I just love how it's so semantic, because in some games you just have a dump stat like, hey, I have -2 charisma, and it's like, sure, but looking at the sheet, it doesn't tell me what that means. Do you have -2 charisma because you're shy, or do you have -2 charisma because you're an off-putting person? And in tag-based games, you can just write off-putting behavior as your weakness tag, and it's very clear and evocative. And I love that. I love how semantic things make it more evocative, because I look at the sheet, I get a character. So let's look at the dragon I made. So again, started off with personality. Dragons are proud species. I kept that here. Proud, gluttonous, and neglecting the power of human beings. We're telling the story of a dragon that fell to humans but continued being prideful anyway. And not just that, fell to humans and got revived by their cult. So this is an undead dragon. And with that comes greater power at night, and it becomes a weakness for silvered weapons. Again, saying this a million times, it's a dragon. I like the idea of dragons taking humanoid form, and dragons having these scales that make them stronger. And also, mages of this era have magic to bind dragons. Lastly, I got the idea that what if dragons were the first mages and humans observed dragons and copied them to learn magic? And I also gave her the limitation where she can only access her magic when she's in human form. And as someone who has a clear disdain for humanity, I wonder what she thinks of herself when she assumes her humanoid form. Does her pride continue, or is she disgusted with herself? Or does she see humans as a poor mockery of this secondary form she can take?